So all the guys that only had one, they had to sit like in the back of the bus. Most other places, if you win one national championship, they build a statue to you outside the building. Here, they won't even let you get to the front of the bus.
Guys, hello, welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Geneva. This is Geneva in General. And today, guys, I have a very, not controversial, but it's getting to that point, okay, topic to talk about as it pertains to the UConn Huskies, okay, the women's basketball, collegiate level basketball team, their head coach being none other than Mr. Geno himself, legendary coach, okay, an amazing coach. People feel as though he is throwing shade at the legend, okay, legendary women's basketball star. They're saying the number one women basketball player in the league, of the WNBA, possibly, perhaps the world. Okay, none other than Miss A'ja Wilson. He made some comments. Again, I'm going to insert the clip. He had made some comments about, how in the UConn Husky world, it doesn't matter how, bright your star is, how strong your star power is, you're not even allowed to cut the line. Whereas in other programs, other universities, other teams, they'll, build a statue of you. And we don't do that here in UConn. Of course, this got a lot of fans of A'ja Wilson and the South Carolina Gamecocks and fans of Dawn Staley feeling some type of way. Allow me to read you an article by Sports Illustrated titled, "South Carolina fans are furious over Geno Auriemma's UConn NCAA championship statue quip," okay? Now, again, he did this speech after the UConn Huskies on Sunday. Okay, they defeated, April 6th, they defeated the South Carolina Gamecocks, okay, which actually poured more salt into the wound. Again, guys, I'm over reading you guys all these long articles. I'm gonna just read you an excerpt, okay, of his quote, okay, and then we're gonna talk about it because it presents a larger issue that a lot of y'all y'all don't see it. See, this is why I like to talk about my, my thoughts. This is Geneva in General and the way my mind works. So again, people are missing, in my opinion, again, not just my opinion, the bigger picture and how problematic this is to all of us. So Geno Auriemma quotes, he says, "We're downstairs, we're in the patio area, and I looked around, and I started counting all the former UConn players that were there at one time, sitting in a group like these guys just hanging out. I was watching, I was counting, and by the time I finished counting," he then went on to list many of the former players he saw and how many NCAA championships they won before continuing. So all the guys that had one championship, they had to sit in the back of the bus. He said most other places, if you win one national championship, they build a statue to you outside the building. Here, they won't even let you get to the front of the bus. He then added before noting that he ultimately counted 27 national championships amongst the group of players. He was actually able to remember. Again, this is a man that's in his possibly the late 70s, okay? He started counting. He actually remembers how many players from his UConn Husky program days won a national championship. This clip has found South Carolina fans, and many are taking Auriemma's joke about statues as a reference to A'ja Wilson, who won one NCAA championship with the Gamecocks, having a statue outside of South Carolina Stadium, and they are really not happy about it, okay? One person quoted, it says, "Babe, A'ja Wilson is a South Carolina native." Someone else quoted, "Changed the trajectory of that program. She stayed home." Again, guys, if you don't know, A'ja Wilson, she is born and raised in Columbia, South Carolina. So she's loved there. She doesn't have a statue just because she won a natty. We get that, right? One fan wrote. Someone else added, "Y'all are so simple-minded for real. A'ja didn't just get a statue built for only winning a national championship." Again, guys, this is all based on, again, like I said, perception is everything, but perception is not reality. Again, I'll say it again for everybody in the back with the cheap seats. Perception is everything, though perception is not reality. People are perceiving, again, it could be right, it could be wrong. Okay, a lot of South Carolina fans, Dawn Staley, A'ja Wilson fans have, taken his words. They've heard what he said. They saw that video, okay, that he did that interview after they won the NCAA championship, and they are perceiving that to be like a shot, shots fired, an attack, or shade being thrown towards A'ja Wilson and the entire South Carolina Gamecocks team. Again, people are saying what? Again, it's a lot of historical reasoning behind A'ja Wilson having that statue erected in her honor, okay? Her grandmother, guys, again, this is Columbia, South Carolina, was a black woman, obviously, more than likely, okay? Some of us, obviously, African-Americans, we got a lot of white ancestors and white ancestry, but A'ja Wilson has a black grandmother who was not allowed to set foot at that university back in her day because, again, the color of her skin, because of racism, okay, flat out. And to see her granddaughter now have a statue erected in her honor, see what I'm saying? It's not just about A'ja Wilson winning just one NCAA championship, right? It's obviously that's her home roots. She has a lot of history there for generations. The Wilson family, from slavery to upwards. I'm sure have a lot of deep-rooted history in Columbia, South Carolina, right? In Jim Crow area, civil rights movement, et cetera, et cetera. But again, I could go that way, but I just did. But this presents a larger problem that I'm annoyed with. And some people know what I'm talking about. If you don't, I'm about to tell you, okay? So drum roll, please. But Geno Ariama's comments, it got me thinking, why do we demand women to be humble? What's wrong with a woman having a statue erected in front of her, the university that she, graduated from, she was educated from, she played basketball or another sport at? What's wrong with that? Like, what's wrong with a woman being celebrated? What's wrong with women achieving? What's wrong with women accomplishing? What's wrong with women being braggadocious? What's wrong with women being celebrated? Again, in my opinion, in my eyes, the way I perceived it to be is like he wants to browbeat women into being humble. Again, what is this obsession with humbling women, specifically, even more specifically, Black women? Again, I don't get it. Again, y'all name me one athlete on the male side of things. Let's say specifically NBA, NFL, men's college football, men's college basketball. Now, they do try to do Deion Sanders' son, Shador Sanders. They say, like, oh, he's kind of, he comes across as cocky. He comes across as very brash. He comes across as arrogant. Because, again, like, he knows who he is, okay? And ain't nothing wrong with that, okay? He a young Black man. He said, like, you know what, my father, I was raised by my dad. He been down this path. Yes, he is the number one men's college football coach. Y'all not gonna play with me. I know all about, the raggedy deals in the NFL. When he had went, this was some months ago, he had went to tour some teams. He was in talks and some bigwig meetings, and people were like, we don't like Shador Sanders' attitude, his air of arrogance about him. He's just too confident. Okay, so again, like, it does happen in the male side of things in the NBA, NFL, and in several other sports. But to me, it's still like culturally, it's acceptable for a man to be braggadocious. It's acceptable. It's all fine for a man to be confident, for a man to be arrogant. Okay, women, it seems as though the world just browbeats us. Like, you got to stay humble. But why? What's wrong with Asia Wilson? Again, I want the truth. I want the truth right now. What's wrong with Asia Wilson being celebrated and having a statue erected in her honor from the university, in front of the university, that she has? Yes, it's just one, okay? One, none, some. What's wrong with celebrating Asia Wilson and erecting a statue in front of a building of the university that she graduated from? Again, as a society, we are sick. We have an obsession with humbling women, and I want it to stop, and it is going to stop. Okay, it is stopping. Okay, because this is what, shout out to, what's that girl's name? The sister name? That's the woman's name. Okay, Ari Chambers. Okay, she's very big into women's sports. She's like a journalist. Guys, follow her on TikTok. She did some great interviews with DJ Carrington, Alyssa Smith, Zaya Cook. Okay, she interviews WNBA stars. She's very good. Shout out to Ari Chambers. She actually has a series. I remember she did a video on her TikTok about female athletes celebrating themselves. She said, and as women in this world, we don't brag enough about our accomplishments. We don't brag enough about ourselves. So she gave the mic to Masai Russell. Okay, if you guys don't know her, I'm into track. I ran track as a kid. I'm about to actually do a track video tomorrow, so stay tuned, okay? Just to branch out. But Masai Russell, she's a huge track star, an Olympic athlete. And she said, Masai Russell, like, here's the mic. Brag about your accomplishments. She said, you know what? I'm 22 years of age. And, I'm a millionaire, and I just bought my first home. And it was like, yes, you should be applauded. Applaud yourself. If nobody else is going to applaud you, and no one else is going to compliment you or brag about you, what's wrong with women doing those things for ourselves? What's wrong with that? Again, I understand the whole, be humble, because at the end of the day, we are all just flesh and bone. We are mere mortals, okay? It's like we entered this world, one day we got to exit this world, okay? Exit this life. We got to exit this plane of existence. But again, to me, Geno Ariama's comments, it really got my head turning, like the wheels of my mind turning. I'm like, you know what? To me, it seems as though he wants to humble women, okay? Specifically, not even just, Asia Wilson, Dawn Staley, the Gamecocks, but he was like, here at the UConn Huskies program, no matter how many championships you win, he said, if you won a championship, you got to sit at the back of the bus. Now, would he do a male player like that? If he was, the head coach of the men's collegiate level UConn Huskies team, would he say, hey, you just won a championship, get to the back of the bus? Would he? Again, we seem as a society to have this sick obsession. We're trying to make women, make themselves smaller. We want them to be humble. We need them to, have very low confidence about ourselves. And I don't like that. I don't understand the reason why. Again, to me, it's dangerous. I always say a woman with low self-esteem is like a man with low self-esteem, but a woman with low self-esteem serves nobody, including herself. She is no good, and she is a danger to the community. We need more women with high self-esteem. So guys, that was just my little rant and my thoughts. Again, that's just my perception, okay, of what Geno Ariama's comments were. And people are like, you know what, he ain't got no right, shots fired, attacking Don Staley and Asia Wilson. Again, that's how they perceived his comments. To me, it kind of magnified, rather, a societal issue with this obsession with trying to humble women. Women, it's okay to be braggadocious, okay? It's okay to be confident. It's okay to, know who you are. Again, always have humbleness and humility about yourself. But at the same time, if you know you out here doing your thing, it's okay to be cocky a little bit. It's okay to be confident. Women, right now, okay, all the women that's watching this video, I want you to write down 5 things that you love about yourself. And what's your top 5, top tier qualities about yourself? Write them down now and post them in my comment section.